the King of Glory Sutras called the Exalted Sublime Golden Light, a Mahayana Sutra. Homage to all past, future, and present Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Pachika Buddhas, and Shravakas. Chapter 13. Chapter on Susambhava. When I became a Chakravartin king, I offered the earth with its oceans, its 4 continents filled with jewels, to all Buddhas of the past. There was nothing loved nor treasured I did not surrender, so I might fully seek the Dharmakaya. For aeons I gave even my cherished life, as I had done for innumerable eons past, during the reign of Sugata Ratnashikin. After that Sugata passed into Nirvana, there appeared a king called Susambhava, hailed as a Chakravartin, ruling the 4 continents. He reigned the earth as far as the oceans. One day, that good king fell asleep in the palace known as Jinendra Gosha. In a dream, he heard the virtues of Buddha. In the middle of sleep, he did vividly see the Dharma preacher Ratnachaya shining amidst the rays of the sun and expounding profusely this king of sutras. And then that king awoke from his sleep, his whole body overwhelmed with joy. Ecstatic, he came out of the palace and approached the supreme assembly of disciples. Making offerings to the conqueror's disciples, he asked after Ratnachaya, the Dharma preacher, where in this assembly of Sangha is the bhikshu Ratnachaya, possessed of virtue. At that time, Ratnachaya was sheltering in another cave, seated in comfort, reciting the King of Sutras and reflecting upon it. Then they showed the king Ratnachaya, the Dharma preaching bhikshu, sitting elsewhere in a cave, glowing with glory, brilliance, and splendor. Here, Ratnachaya, the expounder of the Dharma, upheld the profound sphere of royal activity. He always expounded this King of Sutras, which is called the Sublime Golden Light. Prostrating at the feet of Ratnachaya, King Susambhava said thus, "Teach me, O you whose face resembles the waxing moon, the King of Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light." Ratnachaya accepted this request, assuring King Susambhava that he would teach, and the gods in the 1,000 worlds rejoiced with great delight. Then that king of humans sprinkled that clean, supremely superb sight with jewel-like water and fragrant water too. He carpeted the ground with loose flowers and set up a throne, embellishing the throne with umbrellas, with victory banners and thousands of tassels. The king sprinkled that throne with colorful sandalwood powder. Gods and nagas, asuras and kinnaras, yaksha kings and mahoragas too bestrewed that throne with divine mandarava flowers. Inconceivable, uncountable devas, as well as hundreds of thousands of millions of gods, hungry for the Dharma, strewed Ratnachaya with salatra flowers as he left his cave. Ratnachaya, the Dharma preaching bhikshu, having thoroughly washed and dressed in clean clothes, he approached that throne seat, pressed his palms together, and prostrated to it. Floating in the sky above, the Deva kings, goddesses, and gods scattered mandarava flowers and filled the sky with music resounded from innumerable hundreds of thousands of instruments. Then Ratnachaya, the Dharma preaching bhikshu, remembered the 10 direction 100,000 million Buddhas. He ascended the throne and remained seated upon it, then generated a heart full of kindness for all beings. He perfectly produced the mind of compassion and expounded this sutra to King Susambhava. Pressing his palms and prostrating, the king accordingly rejoiced. Moved by the Dharma, his eyes shed tears, his whole body was overcome by bliss. At that time, King Susambhava, in order to venerate this sutra, took hold of Chintamani, the king of jewels, and made this dedication for all beings' sake. May there now rain down in Jambudvipa ornaments made of 7 jewels, and great riches that bring peace and well-being to beings in this world. Lo, there on the 4 continents, the 7 jewels then bring down armlets, necklaces, and earrings, food, drink, and clothing rain down too. King Susambhava saw this cascade of jewels raining down upon Jambudvipa, and presented the jewel-filled 4 continents to the order of Ratnashikin. I, the Tathagata Shakyamuni, was that king called Susambhava, who at that time completely gave up the 4 lands and the jewels therein. The Tathagata Aksobhya was Ratnochaya, the Dharma-preaching bhikshu, the one who expounded well this sutra to King Susambhava. At that time, I heard this sutra and accordingly rejoiced in it, due to that very virtuous deed, hearing the Dharma and rejoicing well. I've gained this body of golden hue, endowed with marks of 100 merits, beautiful to behold and intensely enchanting to the eye. It gives delight to thousands of millions of gods. When beings behold this body, they will always obtain a body of joy. For 99 billion aeons, I became a Chakravartin king. For numerous hundreds of thousands of aeons, I ruled as a lesser king. For inconceivable aeons, I became Chakra, and likewise Brahma with a tranquil mind. I found the inconceivable 10 powers, whose extent remains ever immeasurable. Equal to that is the mass of merit gained by hearing this sutra and then rejoicing. As I desired, I have completed full awakening. I have attained the sublime body of Dharmakaya. This ends the 13th chapter, the chapter on Susambhava from the King of Glory Sutras, the Sublime Golden Light.